A jewel in the Queen City's crown, City Hall towering over Niagara Square, and voters have already started deciding who will occupy the mayor's office for the next 4 years. Good evening to you, I'm Ed Dranch. We are just 1 week away from Election Day, and tonight we begin the first of 2 nights of conversations with the top 2 candidates for mayor of the city of Buffalo. Democratic nominee India Walton will join us tomorrow night. Tonight, we are joined by Mayor Byron Brown, who lost the primary to Miss Walton and is now running a write-in campaign hoping to win a 5th term. We're also joined tonight by a fine panel of 7 Eyewitness News journalists. Our senior reporter, EILEEN Buckley, who's been covering politics in Buffalo for 36 years. Our morning reporter, Taylor Epps, who was part of last month's debate co-sponsored by the Buffalo Association of Black Journalists, and 7 Eyewitness News political reporter TOUHEY, who's been covering politics in Western New York for more than a decade. Let's talk about how tonight will work. The next half hour will be commercial-free, giving us a lot of time, uninterrupted, to discuss the issues. Mayor Brown will have 2 minutes to deliver an opening statement. After that, we'll turn it over to our panel for questions. There is no time limit for responses. I will be able to ask some follow-up questions to those answers. Mayor Brown will have 2 minutes at the end of this forum to deliver a closing statement to the voters of Buffalo on this week before Election Day. So that's the format. Let's get to it now. Mayor Brown, the next 2 minutes belong to you.
Good evening. The city is much better and stronger now than it was before I took office as mayor of the city of Buffalo. We've been able to cut the tax rate to the lowest level in 30 years. We are spending the most money in the history of the city of Buffalo on youth summer employment. We've built the Northland Workforce Training Center to provide training to people in our community for the jobs of the future, particularly in advanced manufacturing. We have invested over $77 million in our park system. We've built over 2,200 units of affordable housing. We've created a program, Replace Old Lead Lines, to replace lead lines in homes throughout the city of Buffalo. And now, for the first time in 70 years, we have seen population growth in the city of Buffalo. This is a critical election for our future. I am asking every Buffalo voter for your support and your vote in the November mayoral general election, November 2nd. Please write down Byron Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now let's turn it over to our panel. We're going to start this evening with 7 Eyewitness News senior reporter EILEEN Buckley, who's got our first question for you, Mr. Mayor. EILEEN.
Well, Mayor, I've covered your administration the last 15 years, and you have faced some accusations and multiple investigations, including an alleged pay-to-play housing deal. In 2019, we watched as stacks of boxes were hauled out of City Hall by the FBI at the Buffalo Urban Renewal Agency office. Now the Buffalo News is reporting that Bureau gave $20 million in funding to developers who have also contributed to your campaign. You have not been implicated, but this was all under your watch. How do you respond to this?
My response is that nothing has come of that. We have not seen any issue, thing brought forward that says why that was done. In fact, I have no clue to this day, years later, why that actually even occurred. I can tell you that our development process in the city of Buffalo is a thorough one. It's a comprehensive one. We use requests for proposals to try to get the best project at the best value for the residents of the city of Buffalo. And I feel confident in the processes that we have used that have led to over $8 billion of economic development in the city of Buffalo during my time as mayor of our city.
Mayor, though, when you see that the Bureau had given developers funding for their development projects, and yet they're giving to your campaign contributions, don't you believe that that looks a little suspicious to the public?
It is completely a legal process. In our system of American government, people have to raise money. It is expensive running for office. and there is absolutely no conflict, no issue with people who are doing business with the government that are able to contribute to the government. So I don't think anyone has ever questioned the legality of people who legitimately get work, who legitimately are investing in our city, who care about our city, contributing to try to put the best person, to elect the best person to do the best job for the future of our community.
Obviously, there are still many questions about what that FBI investigation will yield, and the FBI will not reveal any information about that investigation until it's complete. So we'll have to see and wait and see what happens when it comes to that investigation inside City Hall. Our 7 Eyewitness News political reporter Allie TOUHEY has the next question. Allie.
Well, good evening to you, Mayor. New York State Board of Elections disclosure reports analyzed by the 7 Eyewitness News I-team show $10,000 was given to your campaign committee from Republican Carl Palladino-linked limited liability companies, or LLCs, on October 18th. But you stated in the past you would not receive any contributions from Palladino. Your campaign claimed the LLCs aren't affiliated with Palladino, but court records show they are connected. Why did your campaign say that the money wasn't connected, and will you still plan to keep the donation?
It is my understanding that Mr. Palladino had no role and no involvement in those donations being made. It is $10,000, as you mentioned, and yes, I did make a commitment that I would not take a donation from Mr. Carl Palladino, which we have not done. But I think the question that you should be asking is why my opponent, Ms. Walton, has over $300,000 in unitemized political contributions. We have absolutely no clue where that money comes from. My campaign, my donations are completely transparent. You can look up all of the donors to my campaign on our filings, which is why we file every single thing. No attempt to hide anything, no attempt to hide where our money comes from. The question that I think should be asked is, what does Ms. Walton have to hide, and why has she not itemized over $300,000 of donations to her campaign?
And Mr. Mayor, we can certainly ask those questions of Ms. Walton tomorrow when she joins us tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. I just want to push you on this a little bit here, because the question really was about that $10,000 donation from Carl Palladino-linked LLCs. And court documents show that Carl Palladino, the Palladino Trust, are subsidiaries of Elegant Development, which is the donor in this case. So let me just refer back to the question: will you continue to accept that donation, or will you return it?
Again, I will say that the information that has come to me is that Mr. Palladino had no decision-making in that $10,000 that was donated. But the bigger question is, Ms. Walton has over $300,000 in unitemized donations, and she should tell the public where that money comes from, who it comes from, and I want to know, and I think the public wants to know, what she has to hide.
And we will certainly follow up with Ms. Walton tomorrow night. Taylor Epps has our next question.
Mayor Brown, good evening. This question comes from Jill, who commented on our WKBW Facebook page. She asks, what are your plans to vaccinate the rest of Buffalo?
Well, Buffalo does not have a health department. Buffalo does not have responsibility for vaccinating people. The state of New York has a health department. Erie County has a health department. During the entire period of the pandemic, though, the city worked very closely with New York State and with Erie County in helping people get tested for COVID-19 and helping hundreds of people get vaccinated for COVID-19. So there was a strong partnership between the city, the state, and Erie County government. In fact, we also partnered with the federal government in assisting people who wanted to be vaccinated get vaccinated. Throughout the entire course of the pandemic, I have put out information as mayor about what people can do to protect themselves, their families, their friends and coworkers from COVID-19, and we have tried to provide every assistance that we can to people who want to get vaccinated through the vaccination sites that were previously set up in our community by the federal government, the state government, and the county government. And I urge every resident in the city of Buffalo to get vaccinated. It is proven that the vaccine is safe, and getting vaccinated saves lives.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to follow up briefly. You are on the Palladino question, the Palladino linked donation. I just want to be crystal clear here. It does not sound like you will return that donation. Is that accurate?
No, I have no plan on returning a donation that did not come directly from Mr. Palladino. I committed that I would not take money directly from Mr. Palladino. We have not taken money from Mr. Palladino, and it is my understanding of that donation that Mr. Palladino had no role in the decision to make it. But more important than $10,000 donated, which was clearly itemized and very transparent for the community to see where that money came from, is the question of over $300,000 of unitemized donations to Ms. Walton, and where that money comes from.
And we will again ask Walton those questions, Ms. Walton, those questions tomorrow. Eyelene, over to you.
Well, Mayor, there are some who say you have not done enough for Buffalo's East Side. While you have developed some great economic development, mostly for downtown Buffalo, but if you drive through many of the East Side streets, there is clearly a need for help. If reelected, what is your vision for Buffalo's East Side future?
So we've done a lot for Buffalo's East Side. During my tenure as mayor, almost $1 billion invested in the East Side of Buffalo. So if you look at investment in parks, if you look at investment in infrastructure, if you look at what we've done to cut taxes in the city of Buffalo to the lowest level in 30 years, that helps homeowners on the east side of Buffalo, it helps renters on the east side of Buffalo, and all residents of our community. If you look at the fact that when I came into office, the landscape of the city of Buffalo, mostly on the east side, parts of the west side, had abandoned, vacant, unsalvageable, dangerous structures. We've been able to demolish over 8,000 of those structures, many of them on the east side of Buffalo, structures that made it impossible for people to get homeowners insurance. If a vacant structure was next to their home, down the street from their home, in some cases around the corner from their home, we remove that danger, we remove that blight from the east side of Buffalo. I'm also proud that my administration is the most diverse administration in the history of the city of Buffalo, hiring many residents from the east side of Buffalo in quality jobs where they are able to support themselves and their families.
Of course, all of this, where we are right now, is because of that primary election back in June. And there are so many questions, Mr. Mayor, about the primary. Our next question about that very issue comes from TOUHEY.
Well, Mayor, obviously everyone knows at this point that you lost the primary. So what would you have done differently now looking back on it? Why do you think you lost?
You know, I can't go back. I can only go forward. And I can tell you, in this election, the only one still talking about the primary is my opponent, Ms. Walton. After the primary, thousands of residents in the city of Buffalo urged me to keep running for mayor of the city of Buffalo. And in less than 48 hours, I made the decision that I would continue to run as a write-in candidate. We have been able to recruit thousands and thousands of people who have made the commitment to write down Byron Brown, to go into the voting booth, to look at their ballot, to go across to the right and down to the bottom right corner of that ballot, fill in the oval and write in or stamp in Byron Brown, I think everything happens for a reason. And I think the reason was to unite the city of Buffalo, people working together in the city now around this campaign that I have never seen working together. I think it was to energize the city of Buffalo. There's going to be a tremendous vote coming out of the city of Buffalo during early voting, which goes until October 31st, and on the actual election day, November 2nd. So I am very pleased, I'm energized by where we are right now, by the support that we're getting from the voters in the city of Buffalo. The support has been absolutely amazing.
But Mr. Mayor, let me just follow up on that point, because in a podcast within the last several days, Ms. Walton said our mayor is so arrogant that he thought he deserved people's votes and didn't go out to work for them. That's what she's talking about in the primary. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't respond to that. What I will say is...
But that's the question, though. I need you to respond to that.
Well, I'm answering the question. I can answer the way I want to answer, can I?
Absolutely, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, sir. So I don't respond to that because during the entire pandemic, which overlapped the election, during the protests against systemic racism that overlapped the election, I focused on getting our community through the pandemic. I was working 7 days a week, nonstop, focusing on food delivery and donation to people that needed it, focusing on providing personal protective equipment and sanitizer to people that needed it, getting masks to people that needed it, helping people get tested for COVID-19, helping people get vaccinated against COVID-19. So those were all of the things that I was doing. I thought that the people of our community would see that I was working on their behalf, that we were dealing with a pandemic, the likes of which had not been seen on this planet in over 100 years, and that I was doing everything that I could to get residents of my city and residents of Western New York as safely through this pandemic.
Taylor, our next question is from a Twitter follower.
Yeah, Mayor Brown, this question comes from Kevin on Twitter. He asks, how are you and your opponent both Democrats? How do you reflect the interests of your party?
So I don't really see Ms. Walton as a Democrat. She considers herself a socialist. I call her a radical socialist because she spent a lot of time during the period of protests traveling around the community, shouting through a bullhorn that she wanted to see police defunded, demanding the defunding of the Buffalo Police Department, shouting curses at police officers trying to do their work. So there are dramatic differences between me and Ms. Walton. I am a lifelong Democrat. I have been active in the Democratic Party. I have been a worker in the Democratic Party. I have worked to get other good Democrats elected, not people that call themselves socialists. I have focused on cutting the tax burden in the city of Buffalo. I have focused on public safety and having a police force that is well trained, that has the tools and the technology to keep our neighborhoods, our businesses, and our places of worship safe. I am respectful to other members of the community, and even when I am engaging in passionate debate with other people in the community, I always do so with respect and the dignity that the office of mayor requires and that the people of our community deserve.
Eileen, over to you.
Well, Mayor, I'm going to jump back to the primary. I just want to ask you, it didn't appear that you took the opponents seriously at the time. Do you regret now not debating them for the primary?
Well, again, like I said, I cannot go backwards. We're not in the primary right now. We are in a general election right now. The primary was a very low turnout election. Roughly 23% of Democratic voters participated in the election. The vote that Ms. Walton got was about 7% of the overall electorate. Now in the general election, there are over 155,000 people that are eligible to vote. And I am appealing to every voter that is eligible to vote in the city of Buffalo for their support, for their vote, to safeguard, to protect, and save the future of our city and keep progress moving forward.
Allie TOUHEY joins us now for our next question, and this one has to do with policing, Allie.
Well, you accuse Walton of cutting 100 police positions if she's elected as part of her public safety plan. While she says she does intend to cut the budget by about $7.5 million, she has never claimed that she will fire 100 police officers to achieve that goal. So, Mayor, please explain where you're getting that from and why you believe it to be truthful.
Well, Ms. Walton spent months and months running around our city in the business areas and neighborhoods of our city, screaming that she wanted to see the Buffalo Police Department defunded, demanding that the Buffalo Police Department be defunded, and saying that you were going to cut $7.5 million from the police department budget would result in the layoff of over 100 police officers. Then when that was stated and the public heard her comments that she wanted to cut $7.5 billion coming into office from the police department budget, then she said she wanted to do it by attrition, which is impossible. There is not that much attrition in the Buffalo Police Department. So she doesn't even understand how retirements work and what the attrition level is in any given year in the Buffalo Police Department. When I pressed her on this issue in a debate, she said that she supported a study and had a study that told her that she could cut over $16 million from the police department budget. And that study says that you could do that by taking uniforms from police officers, taking equipment from police officers, and taking cars from police officers. Not only would that lead to the layoff of police officers and less police on the streets of our city, it would decimate public safety in the city of Buffalo.
Taylor, our next question comes from you.
Mayor Brown, we also took to the streets to ask the community what they wanted to hear from you. So this question comes from John Lodi, who's a father from Buffalo's Elmwood Village.
What are we going to do for the kids, to ensure that there's some good community programs and different things for them to do to keep it safe and build the community? Can we ensure that there's going to be enough positive influences for our children in the future or even tomorrow,
Mayor Brown, your response.
So a number of things that we have done for our children and we will do for our children in the future. We are spending now the most money in the history of the city of Buffalo on youth summer employment and internship. I've already announced a plan to make our youth employment program for young people between the ages 14 to 21 a year-round program where we are employing young people in our community year-round. We also heavily support Say Yes to Education, the scholarship program that the city of Buffalo has that provides academic supports to help our children and families get to the point where young people in the city of Buffalo successfully graduate from high school, which has helped increase graduation rates in the Buffalo public schools. And then once students graduate from the traditional public schools or from charter schools, they can then go on to college with a scholarship from the Say Yes program. The city of Buffalo has invested millions of dollars in that program. And this year, for the first time, looking at pandemic learning loss, I proposed a program to the Buffalo Public Schools and funded it and partnered with the Buffalo Public Schools on an Earn to Learn program, which would provide resources to our young people to go to summer school to catch up academically so that they could get back on track academically, and for seniors so that they could catch up and graduate on time. That program helped over 20 seniors graduate on time in the city of Buffalo. My plan is to make that an ongoing initiative, Earn to Learn, for young people having to go to summer school in the city of Buffalo. I will also say that we have invested heavily in community centers. We've invested heavily in the Buffalo Police Athletic League, and during the entire course of the pandemic, the Buffalo Police Athletic League was providing all kinds of programming, both remote and in person, for young people in our city.
Mr. Brown, I don't want to cut you short of any time, but because that was such a long answer, we have a minute left for your closing statement, so please, the floor is yours.
This election is about the future of our community, and it is about the future of every individual, every family, every business that is in our city. The Buffalo News, in endorsing my campaign, my candidacy, said that I know how to govern, that Byron Brown has run the city well. It described Ms. Walton as dangerously inexperienced. This is a clear choice. I'm asking every voter in the city of Buffalo for your support and your vote in this November general election for mayor of the city of Buffalo. Please write down Byron Brown.
Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. We also want to thank our team of 7 Eyewitness News journalists for their questions on behalf of you, the voter. Of course, our senior reporter, EILEEN BUCKLEY, our morning reporter, Taylor Epps, and our political reporter, TOUHEY. Ladies, thank you. And we invite you to join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right here on 7 ABC and our WKBW app on your phone and connected TV as we welcome Democratic nominee India Walton to join us for another conversation with the candidates. Election day 1 week from today, regardless of where you live, get out there and vote. I'm Ed Dranch. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning starting at 5. Good night.